Episode 28. A Future Memory. The first future memory did not arrive as a vision. There was no imagery, no distortion. It arrived as certainty. A person woke knowing they would resign from their position that day. Not intending to, not planning to, knowing. The knowledge did not include reasons. It did not include outcomes. It included only completion. The act felt already finished. They prepared for work normally. On the way, they felt no resistance. The day proceeded without anomaly. At mid-morning, a conversation occurred. It was brief, unremarkable. When it ended, the person stood, thanked the other party, and left. They did not experience decision. They experienced recall. Later, they could not remember choosing to resign. They remembered doing it. The memory felt old. Another person experienced something similar. They remembered a phone call that had not yet happened. They remembered the tone of voice, the final words, the silence afterward. The memory was not detailed. It was resolved. When the phone rang later that day, they did not hesitate. They answered. The conversation unfolded differently in phrasing, identically in outcome. They ended the call without distress. They did not feel surprised. The memory had not predicted the future. It had survived it. These instances increased. Not rapidly, selectively. The future memories did not attach themselves to trivial events. They arrived attached to closure, endings, final decisions, events that did not require revision. Those who experienced them did not question them immediately. The sensation was too familiar. It resembled recollection. The difference was timing. The memory arrived before the event. But it did not feel early. It felt placed. One individual attempted to describe it. They stopped after a sentence. Language failed. The experience did not contain uncertainty. Description required it. They did not try again. The list did not change. Names did not move. The system did not mark future memory separately. Treated it as compatible. Those who experienced future memory were already marked. Circled or underlined. Rarely unmarked. A circled individual experienced the most intense version. They remembered attending a meeting that had not yet occurred. The memory included details. Seating. Lighting. A minor interruption. They arrived at the meeting later that day. The room differed. The people differed. The interruption occurred. Not in the same form. The outcome matched. The person did not feel confusion. They felt compression. The memory and the event collapsed into a single unit. Sequence dissolved. The person stopped tracking before and after. They accepted the merge. Afterward, they noticed something else. They no longer anticipated future events. The anticipation felt unnecessary. The memory already existed. This change reduced anxiety. It also reduced agency. They did not notice immediately. Future memory did not replace action. It replaced deliberation. People continued acting. They simply stopped weighing options. When the outcome was already remembered, alternatives lost relevance. The day felt efficient, not empty, resolved. One underlined individual noticed future memory differently. They did not remember events. They remembered states. They woke knowing they would feel relieved later. They did. They woke knowing a problem would no longer matter. It did not. They did not remember how resolution occurred. They did not care. Their behavior aligned. They did not feel controlled. They felt supported. Circled individuals felt something else. They noticed conflict between future memory and present desire. They remembered outcomes they did not want. They attempted to resist. The resistance produced interference. The future memory did not disappear. It waited. When the event occurred, resistance collapsed. The outcome arrived anyway. The person experienced loss, not of outcome, of struggle. They felt bypassed. The system did not respond. It did not correct resistance. It allowed it to exhaust itself. Future memory did not escalate with attention. It was unaffected by observation. Those who fixated did not alter it. Those who ignored it did not escape it. The memory did not require belief. It required time. Sleep interacted differently with future memory. Those who slept after receiving a future memory experienced consolidation. The memory stabilized. Those who avoided sleep experienced interference. The memory blurred. They felt unsettled. They slept eventually. The memory returned. Clear. Sleep finalized it. The scars did not change. The body did not resist future memory. It accommodated it. Movements aligned more smoothly. Actions followed without friction. The body trusted the memory. One person noticed that after several future memories, their present felt thinner. Not diminished, less decisive. The present no longer carried weight. The weight had shifted to the remembered future. They acted to fulfill memory rather than choose. This produced calm. It also produced distance. The list remained unchanged. It did not need to track future memory. Future memory did not sort. It finalized. One event marked the shift clearly. A person attended a celebration they remembered ending. The memory included departure. They remembered leaving early. They did not want to. When the moment arrived, they left. No conflict occurred. No explanation was required. Later, they realized they had wanted to stay. The desire had not mattered. The memory had already concluded the event. The desire had arrived too late. Those who experienced this shift began noticing that conversations shortened. Not because people spoke less, because conclusions arrived early. People stopped persuading. They stated outcomes. Agreement followed. Disagreement dissipated. Future memory reduced debate. Time no longer needed to make mistakes. It no longer needed to correct. It delivered endpoints in advance. Those endpoints guided behavior. This reduced error. It reduced authorship. The old man did not appear. He had no role. Closure was no longer applied externally. It arrived internally. One circled individual experienced a failure. They remembered an outcome that did not occur. The memory arrived. Felt complete. They waited. The event diverged. The outcome did not happen. The person experienced shock. The memory destabilized. For several hours they felt disoriented. Then the memory adjusted. Faded. Another future memory arrived. Correct. The system did not allow incorrect future memory to persist. Corrected it quickly. The error was not tolerated. Future memory required accuracy. This constraint mattered. The system had moved into prediction with enforcement. Not guesswork. Not possibility. Finality. Those who could not accept this experienced friction. Those who accepted it adapted. The list did not update. It did not need to. Future memory was not a marker. It was a tool. It allowed the system to bypass process entirely. Those who experienced it lost the sense of what if. They no longer considered alternatives. They remembered what would happen. Then they made it happen. The difference between memory and action collapsed. The future arrived as recall. The present became execution. The past became irrelevant. This change did not feel dramatic. Felt quiet, efficient, inevitable. The system had reduced uncertainty to a minimum. The cost would appear later. For now, future memory spread slowly, selectively, without announcement, without resistance. Those who experienced it did not warn others. They could not. Warning required uncertainty. They no longer had any. After the first wave, future memory stopped feeling unusual. Not because it became common, because those who experienced it stopped comparing. The experience resisted comparison. It did not lend itself to verification. Two people could remember different futures with equal certainty, and neither would feel the need to test alignment. Future memory was private. It did not announce itself. Those who carried it adjusted quietly. They stopped preparing. They stopped rehearsing. They stopped imagining alternatives. Preparation implied uncertainty. Future memory removed it. A person woke knowing a relationship would end that day. The memory did not include conflict. It did not include blame. It included aftermath, silence, relief, distance. They did not initiate anything. They went through the day normally. The other person initiated the conversation. The end arrived without resistance. Later, when asked how they knew it was coming, they said nothing. There was no language for it. Another individual remembered failing. Not an attempt. Not an effort. The failure itself. They remembered the moment of acceptance. They remembered the shift afterward. They did not know what they would fail at. They did not search. When the failure occurred, it matched the memory in tone, not detail. They did not feel disappointment. They felt completion. The memory had already processed it. Future memory did not protect against loss. It neutralized it. Those who experienced future memory stopped experiencing suspense. Not boredom. Suspense. They did not wonder how events would unfold. They waited for confirmation. This altered interaction. People who still experienced suspense found conversations with future memory carriers unsettling. Responses arrived too quickly. Decisions closed too cleanly. Empathy felt delayed. The future memory carriers were not detached. They were ahead. They had already lived the moment emotionally. They were present only to complete it physically. This difference created subtle separation. Not exclusion. Distance. The list reflected none of this. It did not mark future memory as divergence. The system preferred it. Future memory reduced error, reduced resistance, reduced delay. Time no longer made mistakes where future memory existed. It no longer needed to skip steps. The steps were already resolved. One person noticed a disturbing inversion. They remembered apologizing for something they had not yet done. The memory included forgiveness. They waited. Later that day, they caused the offense. The apology followed. The forgiveness arrived. The sequence unfolded exactly. The person felt complicit. They had remembered forgiveness before wrongdoing. The memory had authorized the action. They did not repeat the behavior. The memory did not recur. The system corrected misuse quickly. Future memory tolerated no deviation. Those who attempted to exploit it failed. The memory collapsed. Another person remembered an outcome they feared. They attempted to prevent it. They altered behavior aggressively. They avoided triggers. They intervened early. The outcome still arrived. But differently. The memory adjusted. It incorporated the resistance. The outcome matched the memory in effect. Not form. The person learned. Future memory did not dictate form. It dictated closure. This distinction mattered. Some began to see future memory as guidance. They misinterpreted it. It was not guidance. It was recall. It did not suggest. It reported. The report could not be argued with. The old man did not appear. There was no decision saturation. Decisions were already made. The body adapted further. Those with scars noticed movement becoming anticipatory. Not predictive. Preparatory. The body aligned before conscious intention. This made action feel effortless. It also made stopping difficult. Once motion began, it completed. This reduced hesitation. It reduced reconsideration. Sleep reinforced future memory strongly. Dreams no longer replayed days. They rehearsed confirmation. People woke knowing which future memories would resolve that day. They did not question accuracy. They did not need to. Incorrect future memory was rare. When it occurred, it was destabilizing. One individual experienced a future memory that did not materialize. They remembered an accident. They waited. It did not happen. The memory persisted for several hours. Then it dissolved abruptly. The person felt grief. Not relief. They grieved an event that had not occurred. The grief passed. The system corrected. Future memory recalibrated. It did not allow false endpoints. The cost of correction was emotional residue. Minimal. Contained. People did not discuss these experiences. Discussion implied uncertainty. Future memory discouraged it. Those who attempted to warn others found the words hollow. They could not express inevitability without sounding delusional. They stopped. The environment adjusted socially. Conversations shifted toward confirmation. People asked fewer open questions. They sought validation. Those with future memory provided it effortlessly. They already knew outcomes. This changed group dynamics. Leadership emerged without contest. Not through persuasion. Through inevitability. Those who remembered the future acted as if outcomes were settled. Others aligned unconsciously. The list did not update. It did not need to. Future memory replaced it as a sorting mechanism. Not by marking. By influence. Those without future memory felt increasingly reactive. They waited for cues. They followed decisions already resolved. Those with future memory did not intend to lead. They simply completed. This asymmetry deepened. Time stabilized further. Mistakes became rare. Sequence errors vanished. Authorship disappeared. Actions occurred because they had already been remembered. The system had achieved near-perfect efficiency. The cost became visible only to a few. They noticed that imagination no longer produced futures, produced confirmations. Creative thought narrowed. Possibility collapsed. People stopped asking, what if? They remembered, what will? Those who valued possibility felt loss. They did not articulate it. They could not. Future memory occupied that space. One individual experienced rebellion. They attempted to act against future memory deliberately. They remembered an outcome and refused to complete it. They stalled. They delayed. They diverted. The memory persisted. Pressure built. Not external. Internal. Sleep failed. Scars tingled. The body resisted deviation. The person acted. The outcome arrived. The pressure resolved. Future memory did not allow refusal. It allowed delay. Delay increased cost. Completion reduced it. The system did not enforce speed. It enforced inevitability. The next development was subtle. Future memory began arriving earlier. Not minutes, days, weeks. People woke knowing long-term outcomes. Career shifts, relocations, endings, beginnings. The memories were less detailed, more abstract, but equally resolved. This reduced long-term planning. Planning felt redundant. People stopped preparing for futures they already remembered. Society adjusted. Institutions shortened timelines. Commitments became immediate. Deferred decisions vanished. Everything felt closer, compressed. The present narrowed further. The list remained unchanged. The scars remained. Sleep consolidated. The old man did not return. He was unnecessary. The system had internalized closure completely. The final realization came quietly. Future memory did not belong to individuals. It belonged to time. Time was no longer correcting. It was no longer making mistakes. It was remembering itself in advance. The future was no longer unknown. It was recalled. Those who could live with this adapted. Those who could not thinned. No alarm sounded. No transition announced. Life continued. Efficient. Certain. Finished before it began.